Thank you so much, Jaden. Our last presentation of today is going to be looking at community service learning. Before I begin the presentation, there's a small video I wanted the kids to enjoy. Michael, when you're ready.
सर आपके लिए उस पार कार का इंतजाम किया है सर। सर आइए सर। ये चल चल जाओ बोला क्या बात करता है, क्या ऊपर से जाएगा, क्या ऊपर से जा जा।
गया मेन शो।
I hate this country. कुछ करो ना।
अब मैं वहां जाके क्या उखाड़ लूंगा?
कैसी जाने बूंदे आई, जाने कैसा दर्द लाई, सामने क्या है ये तेरे, क्यों रुका है तू बता रे हो। कौन तुझको पार लेगा, कौन होगा वो मसीहा, वो जिसे तू ढूंढता है, वो ही है तू वही है। तुझ में तेरा रास्ता है, तुझ में तेरा है सहारा, तू ही तुझको पार लेगा, तू ही है तेरा किनारा। तुझ में तेरा रास्ता है, तुझ में तेरा है सहारा, तू ही तुझको पार लेगा, तू ही है तेरा किनारा। जिसे ढूंढता है तू ही रहे, तू ही रहे, तू ही रहे तेरा मसीहा हो।
Thank you, Michael. So that was just a short clip to exemplify what community service requires us to be an example, not just to the next generation, but also to be able to identify issues that we can start addressing as a community. Michael, you can put my presentation if you're ready. Feel free to share your feedback about what you learned from that video after the presentation. Community service learning. Thank you. Next slide, please. So we've seen the video. There'll be an example video. We are going to answer the question on what is a community, what is service. We want our children to understand community service from a young age. Then what is community service learning, and what are some of the examples of the things that they can do in their communities. Next slide, please. Yes, so what is a community? A community is made up of different components of different people. Next slide. It requires care, change, volunteerism, justice. There are needs that are presented in a community. Next slide. It is a place where people live, work, or play. So it can be school, it can be your home environment, it can be your office. The people in your office become your community. It can be your church. Next slide, please. It is defined as populations that live in the same habitat they share common characteristics, hence forming the community. This is a quote on community. It says, a true community is not just about being geographically close together to someone or part of the same social web network or same social circle. It's about feeling connected and responsible for what happens. Humanity is our ultimate community and everyone plays a crucial role. So it's ultimately about feeling connected and responsible for what happens within your community. So what is service? I'm trying to link the two. What is service in this case? So service is something done for someone else. Sometimes people are paid for it, sometimes people are not paid for it. It can be cooking, it can be cleaning, you're doing it on behalf of somebody else. Service is the action of help or doing work for someone else other than yourself. Service in itself is selfless. Service begins with a natural feeling that one wants to serve. They want to serve first before anything. Mahatma Gandhi said that you find yourself in the service of others, encouraging us to be of service to others. A great leader is a servant first. And this leads them to make conscious choices to aspire to lead and once become a servant leader. So, what is servant leadership? Dr. Christine mentioned it when she was speaking to us. Next slide, please. Thank you. So, a servant leader is in service of family, of community, of society. It can be your siblings, your relatives, or your community that you live in, or the society. Servant leaders lead by example. Servant leaders tend to stay out of the limelight, often leading from behind and allowing the focus to be on the team. So hautawaona hapo mbele. Such leaders make service a top priority. What they want is to be of help to others. They also value integrity. One of the key values that they have is integrity. Another value that they have is generosity. They're always giving of their time, of their resources, of their skill to help others. When it comes to servant leadership, they make decision as a group. It's not just about one person, but about what is the best decision for the community. They put the needs of their followers first. They put the needs of the community members first. Next slide, please. So in that case, we have understood what a community is, what service is. So when it comes to school setting, what is community service learning? Kwa viongozi wetu walio hapa. Service learning is a form of teaching or an approach to teaching that combines both instruction, you can receive it from class or outside class, with meaningful community service experiences, which means that you take it outside the class. What you've learned in class, go and use it outside the class to help others. Children are encouraged, or young leaders as yourself, are encouraged to begin at an early age to learn to care about the needs of others, involving them in community service as an excellent idea. Once you participate in community service, it enables you to enhance your ability, your social, emotional, and academic growth, especially among the young people. So you're encouraged to participate in community service activities. Next slide, please. This is a quote by Ernest. He's a scholar. He said, the aim of education is not only to prepare students for productive careers, but also to enable them to live lives of dignity and purpose, not only to generate new knowledge, but to also channel that knowledge to humane ends for humanity, like we said. Not merely to study government, but to help shape a citizens that can promote the public good, the good of the community of Kenya, the good of the community in Turkana, in Meru, in Tarakaniti, or wherever you're from right now. Next slide, please. So service learning has three key components. There's three key components, just to explain them very easily. The first component is academic enhancement. This is where now you're in class, you're doing testing, you're doing analysis of the different things that you like. The second component is on personal growth and interpersonal skills. This, we talked about it when we're doing the presentation of life skills. It also helps you grow your interpersonal skills, how to relate with others, how to identify the needs of others and be empathetic. The last component is civic engagement. whereby now you take what you've learned in class, the life skills that you've also been able to gain, and then take them into the community to solve a community problem through civic engagement. Next slide, please. So in that case, then, as I finalize, what is community service? How can children engage in community service? So community service, if you pick it from the dictionary, it says it's voluntary work intended to help people in a particular area. So you volunteer. You volunteer. It's unpaid work intended to be of social use. It's not for your benefit, but for the benefit of others. Next slide, please. This is a quote from Andrew Shue. He says, "Community service has taught me all kinds of skills and increased my confidence." You go out there and think on your feet. And you go out there and think on your feet, work with others, and create something from nothing. That is what life is all about, being able to be of service and creating something out of nothing. Next slide, please. This is also another quote from Desmond Tutu. He said, "Do your little bit of good." Sorry. As that, yes. Desmond Tutu said, community service can be seen in this case. Do your little bit of good where you are. It's those little bits of good put together that overwhelm the world. Wangari Maathai's own Nobel laureate said that it is the little things that citizens do that really make a difference. So what is that little thing that you're going to do for your community, whether it's at work or at school? Next slide, please. So here are some pictures of some of the activities that children have been able to do in regards to community service. Just a few of them. Next slide, please. This is a cleanup. You can see there's a cleanup, children cleaning up an area. So one of the needs that you might have is maybe to do a cleanup where you are. Next slide. This is still a cleanup. Collect the garbage, maybe around your school environment or even back at home in the communities that you're in. You can engage in cleanup activities. Next slide. You can also maybe paint. You can also maybe help refurbish as a public space. That is also seen as community service. And there are numerous ways that we are encouraged to engage in community service as young leaders and as learners who are the leaders of Kenya today and tomorrow. Thank you so much for your time. I'd like to, if there are no questions, I'd like to hand it over to Faith. Thank you.
After I've watched the short film and our facilitator has kindly taken us through community learning, I would like to ask you a question. Don't have to reply, but how often do you participate in community service? If I can give an example, it doesn't have to be you who initiates the plan, but what counts is your commitment. Around April, late March of this year, my church started a tree planting session in Karen, and under that category, it's called the Green Teens of the All Saints Cathedral. So we've been planting trees. We give it a duration of time. We go check on them until we nurture them. Apart from that, we've also been visiting prisons, going and interacting with the children there, giving them food, talking with them, ensuring there is good correlation between us and them. And from this, it humbles you and it gives you confidence to do more for other people. Because the more you do for other people, the more God does for you. Don't you agree? take this as a challenge. If you don't have any way or you don't know how to support it, just do your small things that you know will help people. Like we saw in the film, that small boy just started pushing it by himself. And when people see you're committed to doing something and it's a good thing, they will want to join you. Don't you agree? Thank you very much. To the people who are watching this, I want to ask you, how will you promote community leadership, and how will you promote community work to become better leaders for today and tomorrow?
Respect.
Thank you.
Comes to his mind, one word.
So thank you for that presentation this afternoon. I want now to request Brother Otuyo to appreciate the facilitators and the team before we continue. Karibu, Brother Otuyo.
Thank you. I agree with you during Nyayo era. So I would remind you that we clap for the facilitator 3 times. 1, 2, 3. Ready? 1, 2. Again. Again. Thank you, young lady, for your courage to serve the community. Thank you. Next presenter.
So we are waiting for online activities that we can watch, activities from counties. I want to request that we can now continue.
are children from Embu County, ready to present to you how we do our Embu greeting. Mbele nimesiana kuma Embu County, asubuhi, asubuhi, karibu, kasiana, muyalo. Leto nilikuwa nataka na Mungu mwela leo. Tamu mwenyewe kana tena mzee. In front of you are children from Embu County, ready to present to you how we do our Embu greeting. Mbele nimesiana kuma Embu County, asubuhi, asubuhi, karibu, kasiana, muyalo. Leto nilikuwa nataka na Mungu mwela leo. Tamu mwenyewe kana tena mzee. In front of you are children from Embu County, ready to present to you how we do our Embu greeting. Tamu mwenyewe kana tena mzee.
Already.
This is Kajiado County number 34, and we appreciate Capture for organizing this program, and we are truly enjoying it. And the greetings are responded to. Eva.
County 024, West Pokot, Oshagwalapai. Wamoso uje Kisumu. Wamoso uje Kenya. Wamoso uje Kisumu. Wamoso uje Kenya. Wanwaeno musoeno. Msaoeno, msaoeno. Wanwaeno musoeno. Msaoeno, msaoeno. Wanwaeno musoeno. Msaoeno, msaoeno. Wanwaeno musoeno. Msaoeno, msaoeno. Kawono wandimor, wandimor, wandimor. Kawono wandimor, wandimor, wandimor. Kawono wandimor, wandimor. Kaunti nono, ang'wen, ariyo. Morega, good morning, hamjambo. We as a student government from Kiambu County, who are self-driven, believe to become and have begun to lead our generation to greatness. We are honored to be part of the 5th National Children's Council Congress 2021, sponsored by UNICEF. Siku njema.
All right. We really apologize for the technical hitches. We are trying to get the students online to be able to give us feedback. We hear from them at least. In the meantime, I'd just like to collect views from the children that are in here, how the day has been for them, what they have been learning. So I'll kindly ask our shadow MCs, Jaden, Joro, and Faye to please come. You can, I have a sanitizer in my pocket, don't worry. You can sanitize as you share the mic. This will only take about 5 minutes just to get their views as we wind up. And then from here, we'll be able to hear the teams online and also present the resolutions from the National Children's Council 2021. Have our shadow MCs done a good job today? Let's welcome them with a round of applause as they come. Right. So, Njora, I'll start with you since you're the one who has the mic. How has the day been for you? What have you been learning so far?
I can say that the day has been great. I have learned mostly what I have learned is about the values. It touched my heart. I at first I never thought that being a leader you need all of those values. I always thought that being a leader is something simple, but now I've understood that being a leader is not being you, but it's being everyone else, caring for your people before your needs. Thank you.
Amazing. Thank you so much, Joro. Let's give him a clap for that. What about you, Jaden? What have you been learning today? What are you taking home?
I've learned a lot about community service and the way that small boy is the one who started pushing the tree. It shows that even the slowest of people can make a big difference in the community.
Wow. So even the smallest of people can make a big difference in the community. Thank you, Jaden. What about you, Faith? What have you been learning? What have you been learning throughout the day? What have you been hearing?
We can all agree that we've learned many different things. And to me, my greatest takeaway is that for me to want to serve as a leader, I have to step down and not always take charge in everything. You should drop your ego so that I do not destroy other people. You should promote co-friendly values and come to a common agreement with the people you are leading so as to improve all of you in general. And also now I'm better informed about career guidance because I thought that after finishing university, you get your bachelor, you just jump into your work. Now I have learned that if I lack the qualities which you are taught, then I will have to go miles and miles to look for workers instead of them to come and look for me for my values.
Great.
Thank you. In front of great ladies and gentlemen, and that is something empowering. Do not shy away from doing what you want to do. Go ahead and charge at it. And if you feel that an injustice is being committed, don't say that you're too young to speak out. Speak out and make a change, because the more you learn to speak out for yourself from a younger age, the better you'll become and the more you'll be respected, not only by older generations, but also your peers. Thank you.
Wow. That is very wise, Faith. Thank you so much. So never too young to speak out. Don't stand as injustice is happening. Thank you, Faith. What about you, Njoroge? What is your message to the kids that are watching us? What would you tell them as we finish?
My message to all the children out there watching us today is that in this life that we live, at least you yourself don't wait for others. Try yourself to start leading, because as I told you, I have learned a lot from the leadership session that we were given. So to the children out there, be leaders yourself and practice the values, because I have noticed that anybody who has those core values is a leader, even though you have not been chosen, because the leader is you and not the person chosen. Your values are the ones which reflect the leader in you.
Wow. Thank you so much, Njoroge. And finally, Jaden.
All I would say is in life there are ups and downs, and that you should never give up in whatever you're doing. Even if you want to do something hard and people are discriminating you,
All right. Migori County is online. Kindly unmute so that you can speak. Migori County, if you can hear us, kindly unmute. Hear us? Kindly unmute. Hear us? Kindly unmute. Hi guys. Hi guys. Okay, let's see if there's no echo here. Great. So guys, if you can hear us, wave at us. We can see you. Hi. You can wave at us. Great. Hi. How has the day been? Can anyone speak? Anyone can stand and speak and tell us what they have learned today? Yes, we can hear you. Anyone can stand and speak and tell us what they have learned today? Yes, we can hear you. Anyone can stand and speak and tell us. You guys don't want to speak to us? What have you learned today? You guys don't want to speak to us? What have you learned today? You guys don't want to speak to us? What have you learned today? You guys don't want to speak to us? What have you learned today? You guys don't want to speak to us? What have you learned today? You guys don't want to speak to us? The county. Please unmute Kwale County and wave. We can see you. Can you wave to us? Please unmute Kwale County and wave. We can see you. Can you wave to us? Please unmute Kwale County and wave. We can see you. Can you wave to us? Please unmute Kwale County and wave. We can see you. Nyeri County. Nyeri County. Nyeri County. Please wave. Hi. What have you learned today? Teacher, if you can kindly unmute and have some of the kids share with us what they have learned today. Nyeri County. Isiolo is speaking. Please unmute. Please unmute. Mr. Rashid, please unmute. You're muted. Please unmute. Garissa County. Can you hear us? Please wave. Garissa County. We can see you. Please wave. Mtusalimie. We can see you. Please wave. Mtusalimie. We can see you. Please wave. Mtusalimie. We can see you. Garissa County. Please wave. Mtusalimie. We can see you. Garissa County. Please wave. Mtusalimie. We can see you. That's Nandi. Garissa County. Please wave. Mtusalimie. We can see you. That's Nandi. Garissa County. Please wave. That's Nandi. Garissa, come please wave. That's Nandi. Garissa, come please wave. Do we have any county? If you wish to speak, please raise your hand or unmute yourself. Nyandarua, do we have any county? If you wish to speak, please raise your hand or unmute yourself. Nyandarua, do we have any county? If you wish to speak, please raise your hand or unmute yourself. Nyandarua, do we have any county? If you wish to speak, please raise your hand or unmute yourself. Nyandarua, do we have any county? If you wish to speak, please raise your hand or unmute yourself. Nyandarua, do we have any county? If you wish to speak, please raise your hand or unmute yourself. Nyandarua, do we have any county? If you wish to
Wave at us, hi.
raise your hand or
Okay, please speak, please unmute and speak. Wajir County. Wave at us, hi. Okay, please speak, please unmute and speak. Wajir County. Wave at us, hi. Okay, please
Can't
speak,
hear
please
them.
unmute and speak. Wajir County. Wave at us, hi. Okay, please
Can't
speak,
hear
please
them.
unmute and speak. Wajir County. Wave at us, hi. Okay, please
Can't
speak,
hear
please
them.
unmute and speak. Wajir County. Wave at us, hi. Okay, please
Can't
speak,
hear
please
them.
unmute and speak. Wajir County. Wave at us, hi. Okay, please
Can't
speak,
hear
please
them.
unmute and speak. Wajir County.
Nyamira County.
Wave at us, hi.
Nyamira County, can you hear us?
Please unmute and speak. Wajir County.
Nyamira County.
Wave at us, hi.
Nyamira County, can you hear us? Please wave.
Wajir County.
Nyamira County.
Wave at us, hi.
Nyamira County, can you hear us? Please wave.
Wajir County.
Nyamira County. Hello. Nyamira County, can you hear us? Please wave. Please unmute.
Nyamira County.
Hello.
Nyamira County, can you hear us?
You can speak. You can
Please
speak. You're
unmute.
unmuted. Please speak.
Hello. Nyamira County, can you hear us?
You can speak. You can
Please
speak. You're
unmute.
unmuted. Please speak.
Hello. Nyamira County, can you hear us?
You can speak. You can
Please
speak. You're
unmute.
unmuted. Please speak.
Hello.
All right.
Nyamira County, can you hear us?
You can speak. You can
Please
speak. You're
unmute.
We sincerely
Please
apologize
speak.
for the technical
Right.
hitches.
Nyamira County, can you hear us?
You can speak. You can
Please
speak. You're
unmute.
We sincerely
Please
apologize
speak.
for the technical
Right.
hitches.
Nyamira County, can you hear us?
You can speak. You can
Please
speak. You're
unmute.
We sincerely
Please
apologize
speak.
for the technical
Right.
hitches.
Nyamira County, can you hear us?
You can speak. You can
Please
speak. You're We
unmute.
sincerely
Please
apologize
speak.
for the technical
Right.
hitches. You can speak. You can speak. You're We sincerely apologize for the technical hitches. We sincerely apologize for the technical hitches. We sincerely apologize for the
So we continue with the program. Let us give a clap. Despite there was some technical issues, we give them a clap. Moja. Thank you. So at this point, we want to take this opportunity to just sincerely welcome our national chair so that he can make his closing remarks and invite the guest for this afternoon. Karibu, Brother Johnson.
Thank you. Thank you, our National Secretary, our chief guest this evening, who is none other than the Teachers Employer Teacher Service Commission. We were expecting the CEO, Dr. Nancy Macharia, but this evening she has also sent us a very, very important lady to us. And this is none other than Rita Wahome, who is the director for staffing in Teacher Service Commission. We want to appreciate the time you have spared. We know you had indicated earlier that you are very busy. You would join us online, but I want to appreciate that at least you have shaved some things in your busy schedule and you have found time to come and physically talk to those who are here and talk to the whole country, because we have our centers in all the counties spread all over the country. So, Madam Rita, very much welcome and feel appreciated. In front of you here in this hall is a team of Nairobi Children Council members. Nairobi Children Council members, wave at our chief guest. Wave at our chief guest. Thank you. Thank you very much. We also have the National Executive Board members. And in a few seconds, I would wish to request them to be upstanding for you to be able to see them. Just right here, we have the National Secretary, Brother Mitei Philip, the National Treasurer, Brother Kennedy Cheba, Mr. Mugo, who is the Assistant National Secretary, and the Vice National Chairman, Mr. Fuad Ali. Then we have next National Executive Member, Irene Yaile. Then we have Mr. Caleb Oduyu, National Executive Member. And then we have the National Women Representative, Madam Winnie Sila. Then, thank you very much. Thank you very much. Then we have our Chief Executive Officer, Madam Rebecca Otieno, is the one who mans our office. I want to appreciate, in the midst of us, we also have the Chair, Nairobi Region, Mr. Gitao Joseph. Thank you. Thank you very much. Then we have other officers who had been attached to us from KICD officers around. Kindly be upstanding. They are working with us. Thank you. Thank you very much. Ed teacher who is around, I have not mentioned. Kindly be upstanding. I can see Irene. Irene, yes. Thank you. She's also one of the leaders of Nairobi region. Thank you, Irene. Then we have our facilitators. Be upstanding, including this girl, this very beautiful girl here. You know, stand, just stand and come here. This is a special girl, Madam. Kuja usalimie mgeni. She has given a life story of how she has managed to be where she is now, going to secondary after a very extensive operation, long time when she was young. Do you want to tell our chief guest something? Or maybe greet her? That is very complicated greeting you are.
That's fine.
Yes, just greet her. She might learn something today.
안녕하세요. 제 이름은 페이티예요. 만나서 반갑습니다. 감사합니다. So that means hi, hello. My name is Faith. It's a pleasure and an honor to see you. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Faith. Madam Director, one of the things we started learning yesterday is to learn new greetings. New greetings, like today I've also learned Muriega, and I also learned Muga, Amosuru. I also learned today. So I want to believe these children who are here and those who are in all these stations that they have learned something today. We want to empower them to be leaders from this tender age. We want to nurture them to learn from each other and educate others. And without much ado, Madam Rita, I want once again to say I appreciate your honor, and I want to kindly welcome you to talk to us and officially close the Congress for us. Thank you very much. Welcome. Let us welcome her with a clap.
Thank you very much, Mr. Nzioka, the chairman of the Kenya Primary Schools Head Teachers Association, for that very elaborate and warm welcome to this place, so that I'm with you for at least some time this day. So I'm here on behalf of the CEO, Dr. Nancy Njeri Masharia, Secretary to the Teacher Service Commission, to give remarks as we mark at the end of the 5th National Congress, National Children Council Congress. So the chairman, Kenya Primary Schools Head Teachers Association, the National Executive Board members here present, representing all the regions of this country, our children, wherever they are, in the 47 counties in this country, the KICD CEO, who very favorably gave us this venue to use throughout this day, UNICEF, who have partnered closely with the CAPTCHA, our children here present, our ACTT IT company, that is the African Center for Technology company that is streaming this live, or that is assisting in ensuring that we are able to be in touch with all participants in the country, invited guests, ladies and gentlemen, good afternoon. Good afternoon. It's a great pleasure to be here with you, and we want to thank God for this day. We are having this conference in the new norm of where we cannot be able to congregate, many of us, at a venue, but I want to appreciate the fact that we have moved ahead, and we can be able to communicate to all participants from all corners of this country. I think that is something that we need to appreciate ourselves and yourselves for. And I would wish, I don't know if I can be able to clap for you alone, but can we be able to appreciate ourselves by clapping for ourselves? It's a great achievement, Chairman, and this is the direction in which we should all be moving, because we should not be deterred by what is in the environment, to reach our children, to teach our children, to impact knowledge, skills, and attitudes to ourselves and our children, so as we actually prepare them for the challenges that lie ahead, and for their future, their present life and their future life. I want to take cognizance of the fact that we have had speakers today during this particular conference. In particular, I'm sure you received some introductory and welcome remarks from the director, KICD, Professor Charles. We really want to appreciate their support. I am also informed that we were able to also get the PS addressers through Madam Narea Olich. We really want to appreciate their contribution, and all our facilitators who have been able to be with us throughout this day, and in a very special way, our dear child by the name of Faith, who has also contributed a lot during the facilitation of this particular day. So therefore, ladies and gentlemen, it is a great pleasure for all of us to be here today. And I would like to thank and commend the Congress organizers, Mr. Nzioka and your team, for their commitment and support in strengthening a democratic culture in children at a very young age. It's not like in the olden days, the days in which we grew up, where the teachers would say, and the children, they are supposed to listen, where the parents would say, and where the parents would give commands, and it was the responsibility of the children to take those commands. We are in a new normal in very many ways, that we have to dialogue, that there is democracy, that we have to listen to our children, they have to listen to us. And therefore, we really want to appreciate that you have steered this team to hold a fifth Congress of this nature. And I'm sure this will go a long way in ensuring that our children grow to very responsible citizens. I am sure this is part of what has also been able to steer us to be able to prepare ourselves better for the competency-based curriculum. This Congress, like others held before, ladies and gentlemen, promotes the process of achieving the overall goal of the 2030 Agenda for Sustainable Development for our children in our Kenyan schools. These children who have been here today and those whom we have been able to interact with during this Congress are ambassadors of other children. And I want to appreciate that and believe whatever they have been able to learn today, being the representatives of the larger children's bodies or pupil bodies in their schools, then they should be able to disseminate the same and hope it will be either virtually so that we are able to cascade this virtual mode of communicating and learning. This is an important and timely event for our children, and I'm particularly pleased to make a statement in relation to empowering our children's representatives on matters dialogue and leadership in schools. Now, it calls for us, all of us, to gear our efforts in improving teacher-learner dialogue, as well as accomplishing children's rights by enabling their participation in planning, decision-making, quality education, poverty reduction and eradication, combating the current pandemic, COVID, combating HIV and AIDS, and other diseases that actually affect our society, access to safe drinking water, and improved quality sanitation. I'm aware that these councils are actually a product of child-friendly schools, and these councils are meant to make our schools very child-friendly so that children feel at home in school, away from home, for the hours or for the time that they have to be there. These aspects form the backbone of 2030 agenda and need to be strengthened not only in schools but at all levels. Ladies and gentlemen, not forgetting that we are preparing these children to be able to steer this country in 2030 and beyond. Moreover, we are also saying that teachers, learners, and other stakeholders should strive to see that we have children's councils that add value to finding amicable solutions to other challenges such as molestation, violence in schools, discrimination of all nature to our children, because all children should feel that they are safe and they are happy in their learning institutions. Ladies and gentlemen, I now wish to direct my message to the representatives of the children's councils in this Congress, both here and also out there, hoping they are able to hear what I say, that I believe you have learned a lot on values, social responsibility, life skills, career guidance, and community service. I want to underline community service because we live in communities. We cannot live in isolation. And in those communities, we have different characteristics, within them. And therefore, our children, as they grow, they should be able to discern and pick up the good and leave out the bad. That can spoil their future as they grow up. This would be nurtured by way of putting into practice and serving as role models. That is positive role models, so as to positively influence your fellow learners. You leave this Congress with a task to ensure that you share the knowledge and skills learned here to the rest of the students, to the rest of the learners, the pupils, with the commitment that it deserves. Because this marks, when you identify as a leader very early, I think I need to emphasize that it is because other children have noted you have leadership skills. You can give them guidance. You can show them the way. You can be able to lead them and guide them to the light, not to darkness. So you have that challenge to ensure that you guide, you provide leadership in the right manner. The knowledge and skills acquired from this Congress should therefore go a long way in impacting the communities in which we live, beginning with our families and our schools. So those skills, those leadership skills, those mannerisms, the way you speak, the way you behave, should be a reflection of what you are in your family, in your school, in other institutions that you will be in the future, and also in the communities and areas that you will serve, both in this country and also internationally. Ladies and gentlemen, I would like to conclude by saying that the world is changing at a very fast rate and very many dynamics, and therefore leadership